Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wednesday night is truck night in the Sim500. It's going tonight's races. Jeff McConaughey and Joe White.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And I tell you what, I hope you enjoyed the intro there, because we are here live at Daytona International Speedway tonight for the beef jerky. Bruh, let me rephrase that though, because we got to put the most emphasis part on that. That kick-ass beef jerky truck series here tonight for the Sim500. It's going to be a good one because we're kicking off the season at Daytona. I call it the epicenter of all things motorsports here. It's where it begins for most of the motorsports and NASCAR throughout the season. Well, Joe White up here in the booth, gotten by old Jeff. Tony, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing fantastic. How could I possibly be any better? We are watching some racing from Daytona International Speedway. I've got my brand new microphone here for the highest possible audio quality for all the dozens of fans out there watching tonight. I'm sure everyone is just as excited as we are up here for the kick-ass beef jerky eNascar Sim500 Truck Series live from Daytona International Speedway. Again, sponsored by Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. We were going to have some up here in the booth, but, you know, with the shipping and everything else, I don't know if anyone knows, but there's a bit of a global pandemic going on. so the shipping's a bit slowed down. So next week, we're going to have kick-ass beef jerky up here with us, chomping on it. It's going to be great. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and I tell you what, as these guys, man, are coming to the green here, we won't do a rundown here real quick because but you see them already gridded up there. We'll tell you who's on pole. Tommy Ryan puts it out front with Anthony Burrow starting in second, Shane Ewing to third, Chris Jabu to fourth, and Richard Swavely fifth place spot there. But these guys are coming around here to take the green flag when it's to kick off the 2020 season. Like you said, with the kick-ass beef jerky, man, last week we raced it out in the duels. And, folks, if you missed that, holy cow, you missed an awesome race and an exciting race at that, too, because those guys put on a wild show as the green flag flies. We're racing 2020 style here as they head off into turn one.
Heading towards turn one, looks like there's no real advantage for either line. Tommy Ryan's got a truck length. The guy behind him, that's Shane Ewing. He had a fantastic win there in the second heat race. That was, there were quite a few cautions in that one. The first dual race went off with no cautions whatsoever. The second dual race was filled with them. Shane Ewing came out the winner there. But Tommy Ryan right now is on the back pedal motion because he's got Anthony DeBarro trying to come down in front. That 5 car's not clear though. Chris works his way in, bullies his way down in front, doing everything he can to stay behind Anthony DeBarro there in first. The inside line is moving here as they're coming around to complete lap 1 of 100.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a move right there Chris Jabu did. He almost cut the front nose off of Tommy Ryan as they came down. As you can see, Tommy's going to the outside, riding along the inside of him here, but out front, 2 trucks there leading. Anthony DeBarro, no stranger to putting it out front here, so he's going to lead that lap. He's got the Hootermobile along with Haas Machine behind him. Looks like the top 3 single file, but you got a stretch of trucks right behind them on the top lane and the bottom lanes. They storm off down the back stretch.
Tommy Ryan is up on the outside. He's dropping back a little bit, but if you were watching last season when they were in the K&N cars, you would remember that at Daytona, it was actually one of my first races here, Tommy Ryan and his brother Jeff Ryan were pretty darn strong all throughout the field and worked their way towards the front. I think one of them might have actually won that race. So right now, these guys are no strangers to winning here at a super speedway. Someone else that isn't a stranger of winning at a super speedway, Spencer Boyd. He's a little bit further back. He won the truck race, the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series race in real life, you know, not just on iRacing, but in real life, that was Spencer Boyd. He's sitting back, though, in 34th at the moment. So he's taking his time. He's not going to get involved in any wrecks. He's got the kick-ass beef jerky logos all over his car, excuse me. But right now, he's hanging a little bit further back. Could that be the strategy? Hang way back, let the wrecks happen over the course of 100 laps, and win it at the end?
You know, you talk about that. You talk about guys doing this and that. But Spencer Boyd, you know, being a real-time driver, knows a lot about what's going on out here at Talladega. You're going to see multiple strategies. Some guys love to be out front. Some just want to drop to the back there and hang on to the tail. It's a longer style race. I think we got... we got here 100 laps here tonight, so you've got a long way to go to try to be, you know, patient, and I think Spencer understands that. The one thing we think about here, though, Jeff, it's not if, it's when the big one happens, and sometimes it don't matter where you're at. You can get caught up into that very easily.
You are absolutely right. That big one, it's not an if, it's when. Just like you said, they always happen at these super speedways. That's why if you're not starting near the front, you know, you're not a top 5 driver at the moment, I would consider dropping back and taking the Spencer Boyd strategy. Start at the back, run near the back for a while, and just relax. You don't need to do anything crazy. Just go around and cruise. He's back there with Steve Gottschalk, who ran in the K&N series. Did quite well there, and right now these guys are just biding their time. But if you're up near the front, absolutely go out and run near the front. Stay up there, battle for position, or if you've got a teammate that's up towards the front. Right now, Tommy Ryan is second on the outside. He's got a teammate and brother all the way back in 17th, Jeff Ryan. He's stuck on the outside as well. If you're in that position, if you're Jeff Ryan, you've got to get to the front and help your brother out. You got to make sure that he does well, so you kind of have to move forward there. But everyone else that's just stuck in the middle, well, that's kind of the worst place to be, I think. So we'll see what they do over the course of this race.
Absolutely, 2x2 all the way back here throughout the fields to come out of turn 4. Still going to be Anthony DeBarro with a truck length out front, but Tyler has more thoughts about taking that lead. It is a drag race to the line, and still Anthony holds on to it as they head off into one. It is a door-to-door party up front throughout the field. You see these trucks, we talked about it last week, jumping around. You see them moving and shaking. Folks, that's not because these guys are just wheeling around. It's because the air pushes these trucks, and that side draft is very strong. The front draft from the front to the back. So they storm off down the back stretch here, still all the way back. You can put a blanket over this whole field.
There's a little bit of trouble going on in the pack. Looks like everyone's got it all sorted out. But how about this? Something we have not mentioned yet. The current leader by just an inch, Tyler Dalton, in that 19 truck. In just 6 laps, he went from 16th all the way to 2nd. He's leading the outside line, making it work. But right now, it's looking like Anthony DeBarro on the inside might be able to lead that lap. But the gap, 9 1/1000ths of a second. They're racing that hard. Coming to lap 7, just imagine how it's going to be towards the end. Another thing to keep in mind with these trucks, like you said, they move around so much. But if you get an in-car view here, if we can take a look inside a cockpit of any one of these cars that's behind another one, man, it's really difficult to see. You're so close to them, you can't see anything in front of you.
Oh, absolutely, and that's a good point to bring up there. As we are riding right here with Shane Ewing, that's a good example. He is on the low line. I always love trying to be on the top lane here when I raced here on iRacing. One of the big things is because you're looking at his windshield. He's not really close now, but going into the turns, if he was a lot closer, all he would see is a big spoil on the back end of that truck. Very hard to see the line going into the turn, and what happens a lot of times, these guys, if they don't watch it, they can't see entering the turns, and they'll clip the bottom of the apron. You're up high, you actually can see, and let's see if we can get an in shot from a guy. Maybe it's up high right here. When they go into the turn up high, you can see in front of you right there. You can see where the line is and the marker. So you can see a lot more than what you can, on the low line when you're only staring at the back tailgate of a truck.
You are exactly right. I remember when I used to run these races with my brother, and we were in the trucks, we always knew it was going to be very, very difficult to see. So whoever was leading would say to the other one, okay, turning now, and basically have to lead their way around the track. It's like a guide dog, really, where you have to tell them when to turn just to be safe, because it's so easy to miss it, and then you drift up the track and you hit someone else and cause a whole chain reaction. It's very, very difficult to see in these cars. And a lot of people watch these races, and it's easy to forget the human aspect behind it. These are all drivers that are real people. They've got emotions. They get frustrated. They get impatient. You have to be a really good driver, for one thing. You have to have that talent, that skill, but you also have to be mentally on top of your game to last 100 laps here and not make a mistake. As Shane Ewing touches the back bumper of Chris Chabot, Chris had to let up a little bit to not run over Anthony DeBarro in the 32. Couldn't see that ahead of him and just tapped the back bumper. Everyone gets it all sorted out, though. No harm, no foul.
Well, I'll tell you what, and right now I said last week, textbook draft, and you see they got about a hood, half a hood, car length in between each one of these guys out there. And that's what I'm saying. The patience right now is well, they're patient. But as the race goes on, and you know and I know, towards about 10 or less laps, they'll close that bumper. They'll become a tailgate party. Right now, the guys are doing what they can to just keep those engines cool, out here riding alone. But a lot of drivers it's still hectic to be in a pack like that. You don't know what that truck's going to do. You got trucks around you. It's jumping around, moving. Still a good race up front with Anthony DeBarro, Tyler Dalton right there, Tommy Ryan and company, as they're still side by side just trying to, and that's just the format of these trucks. Really can't do anything. You're kind of stuck right now in the draft.
You're right. But one thing we did see last week, what really blew my mind, is that we saw guys that could get these huge runs and go on the outside from really, I would say, at least 10 rows back and get up to the front. It was phenomenal. We saw it last week where just one guy, he didn't even need someone behind him pushing. If you time it right, you get a good slingshot going. It's like you drop it into another gear, Talladega Night style, and just drive around these guys on the outside. I don't think we're going to see anyone make a move like that yet because there's really just no need for it. It's lap 11. We're 11% of the way through the race. I was about to do some quick math there, but realized it's quite simple. We're 11% of the way through this race at the moment. Just be patient. You don't need to go taking it 3 wide and charging all the way to the front. But having that in the back of your head, that all by yourself, if you get a good slingshot going, man, that's a good tool to have in your arsenal.
Well, you talk about 3 wide right now. You got to look at Jose Gonzalez up there up high. He's caught on the outside, way up against the wall line there. They're 3 wide, about mid-pack bag. Call him Speedy Gonzalez. Got the CVS machine right behind him. Kevin Brown. It looks like Jose just doesn't have any help right now. You will probably see a third line form as the race goes on. Jose got into the wall just right there, and that's another thing. Truck's bouncing around, doesn't take much. You get sucked up there, and you can actually get stuck on it. Luckily, he got that thing straight before a disaster happened.
Not an easy feat here. You saw it there on the broadcast. You just had to shake the truck and get it off the wall. I remember in the K&N cars, though, last season, it's very, very difficult to get the car off the wall once it's stuck there. It's like it's glued there. Not the case in these trucks. You can hit the wall and bounce off, but the problem is when you bounce off, you have to make sure you don't hit anyone in the process.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, just a storm of machines here as they're coming out of the turn again to take this lap. Is Anthony DeBarro going to lead it? He's got about a half truck lead right there. Looks like he's going to take this one. Tyler's still trying to fight on the outside. Chris Jabou, Tommy Ryan, Shane Ewing. Right now, it's just a patient game of cat and mouse. Who's got the better truck? What do I need to do later on in this machine? So far, hands crossed, fingers crossed, toes and everything else. Lap 13 in. Kind of been very patient. No cautions yet, so we'll keep it that way. How's that?
That sounds good to me. Remember, to finish first, you must first finish. You don't need to go out and get in a wreck on lap 13 here. You just need to go out and run your line and just play it smart, and I think that's what everyone's doing here. I remember in the first heat race, it was 30 laps long, and everyone managed to keep it clean, and it was just perfect. No cautions whatsoever. The second dual race was not quite the same, but we know it can be done here. They just run clean.
Well, you know, and you mentioned that too, Jeff, but even in the second one, they ran for a long time there before the caution did happen. But you're right, in that first one last week, dual, the 35 laps clean, you know, we still in the back of our mind, you got to think about it. It's Daytona, it's a plate-style race. Well, actually, we've got to take that plate part out and call it
a restrictor plate.
A restrictor. So I guess it's a restrictor race now, but I still go off the old term plate track racing. But either way, you have got to keep in your back in mind patience until the end of the race. Obviously, patience will wear thin, especially with these trucks. They don't perform quite like what the Xfinity car or the Cup car does, which has a lot more downforce on it. These trucks out here, yes, they have a lot of downforce, a little more power to them, but they are kind of just like I said, they're glued. This is all you can do. You're in a bunch, you're in a pack, and right now it's nerve-wracking as a driver.
It certainly is. You're really nervous at this point, and we were talking about the human aspect of it earlier. You're nervous at this point where you just don't want to go out and make a mistake. You don't want to end your night, and you also don't want to end anyone else's night and have them angry at you. This is the first race of the season. There's a lot of new faces here compared to the last season where we were in the K&N cars. So right now, you're out there, you're just trying to make friends. And right now, it looks like Anthony DeBarro's got a good friend in Chris Jabou, who's been pushing him since the beginning.
Good race so far up front. Anthony DeBarro, Tyler Dalton, they have been battling out the last several laps. We've got Tommy Ryan pushing for everything with Chris Jabou right there. And Shane Ewing, I know Mom's out there waving up a cool breeze because Shane Ewing pulled it off on the duels last week. That was an awesome run there. And now Anthony looks good. We know he's one of the top fast guys, but look in the back here. You know, you mentioned a couple other ones. Obviously, Spencer Boyd being out there. Donnie Leah, but we got, you know, some of the old veterans here. Chad Cole right there. All kind of Iceman. Usually kind of calm, cool. This is his kind of race. Sit back and be patient, see what we got going on. Jeff Ryan, you mentioned him. Jose, to name a few of the who's who here at the Sim500 all the way back. And a few guys just kind of laying back. E.J. O'Rourke, not used to seeing him back in the back, but he's back there in 38, just being patient.
We mentioned someone earlier that's running this race, Spencer Boyd. He's hanging a little bit further back. But do not fall asleep on Mr. Donnie Leah. He is riding around in 14th right now, and he is a two-time NASCAR champion in the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Series. Not only that, he's won in the NASCAR Gander RV Outdoors Truck Series back before it was called that, but he won the 2008 Ohio 250. He has 4 top 10s as well. So there's a lot of professional drivers out here in the field that have experience behind the wheel in real life. We'll see how that carries over into iRacing. Donnie Leah's been on iRacing for over 10 years, and he's got some great stats to back it up. But he's got success in a real truck, and right now at the virtual Daytona International Speedway, 18 laps in, he started 14th, he's running 14th. I think he's biding his time and waiting, but do not fall asleep on Mr. Donnie Leah.
Oh, absolutely not. The man knows how to get around a truck, get around a track here tonight, along with a lot of other guys. Got a different perspective up front here as Anthony DeBarro still out front there, but Chris Jabou made a move to see if he can't go up high. Moves Tyler Dalton back to fourth. Still locked up like glue up front, side by side, 2x2, all the way back through the field here, folks. Good run up front as you see these guys storm off out of the turn here tonight for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky 2020 Truck Series here. And I said it last week, and I hope it didn't offend anybody or anybody, but man, hey, it's Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck, so it's a kick-ass of a race right now.
You are right on that one. I cannot believe how great this racing is. I also see quite a few trucks out there with the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky logos on them, and it is a good-looking logo for some very good beef jerky. Up at the front, looks like Chris Jabou had to get out of line. He was pushing Anthony DeBarro for the first roughly 18 laps or so. Might have started overheating a little bit, jumped out of line, jumped in front of Anthony DeBarro, or he might have that might have been the plan, I should say, because right now you're burning a lot of fuel. Anthony DeBarro is. You have to keep in mind that he is never lifting off the throttle versus the guys behind him that'll lift off, get a little space, get a little air in the car. He doesn't get to lift. He's burning so much fuel out there, he has to be careful if he's the leader. The plan might have been for that 5 car to jump in front of him, but it could have just not worked out.
You know, and you also got to look at right there, Tyler Dalton made a move to the inside. He threaded the needle for the moment. Still, that outside lane just cannot get past the leader up there, Anthony DeBarro. They can get close, but I've always said it. It doesn't take passing them. You just got to get that nose out front and a drag race to the line to win it. Shane Ewing along with Chris Jabou, Tyler Dalton still, Tommy Ryan, Richard Swavely. You got Jonathan Lockhart, Jason Barham right there, Mr. Kick-Ass Beef Jerky himself. Corey Chester rounds the top 10, but outside looking in, Brandon Keys, Chad Cole, Jose Gonzalez, Kevin Brown, and Jeff Ryan, just to name a few. David Comstock, another heavy hitter out there. It's Daytona, it's plate track. Again, I've seen guys win from the front, the middle, the back. I have seen guys be 2 laps down, Jeff, and still come back out here and win these races.
There's never a bad place to be at Daytona International Speedway. Well, there's a few bad places to be. Pit road, sideways on the track, or on your roof. As long as you are not on one of those, in one of those areas, or doing one of those things when you shouldn't be, then you can still win this race. But usually once you hit your roof and cave that in, that's when things tend to end. But nobody's done that so far. We are 21 laps in, coming to 22 laps into this race. Everyone's kept it clean. Everyone's been patient. And right now, Anthony DeBarro is putting on a bit of a clinic.
Yes, he is. He's out front, and he's definitely showing his way. Got another notable name back here, probably just biding his time. Justin Fuller. We say the man has one speed wide open, but right now, showing a lot of patience. And, well, he's got a truck riding out there with a sponsor that actually had some of tonight. He's got the Bojangles machine out there. Looking good. I don't know about the cheerwine part. I don't really drink it, but it is from NC also.
I don't know. I'm not. I didn't really see you as much of a wine guy there, Joe. So that doesn't surprise me too much. But Bojangles certainly not bad at all. I can agree with you there.
Absolutely, and I tell you, a good-looking truck there. But he, you know, notably, I always say he's wide open a lot of times. But right now, showing a little restraint. He's holding back. He's in 31st. So don't count him out. Just because right now, in this race, he might be back in 31st position. That doesn't mean by the end of this thing he won't be up front. You know, another one there, Joey Katina, back in 33rd. He loves plate track racing, but a lot of these guys, and you mentioned, you know, Spencer Boyd, E.J. O'Rourke, a lot of, and Chad Coleman, just name a few of them, back in the back here in the 30th. But again, folks, by the time this thing's over with, as long as they don't get caught up in a wreck or anything, by the time this thing is over with, look for them to be up front. I think right now they're just playing that waiting game.
They certainly are. You just take a step back, you run a little bit further back. We haven't even gotten to our first pit stops yet. We're about a quarter of the way through this race, give or take a little bit. But like you said, a lot of really good-looking paint schemes out here. But there is one that I'm missing. We used to have a Peeps car that would run every Wednesday night. And on Easter, there was a whole package of Peeps here in the house. And I took a picture. I sent it to you, Joe. But there's no Peeps car out here in the field. And that's just a real heartbreak.
Yeah, old Steve out there, man, not actually racing it here. He did the K&N there for a while, and Also on the Monday night, Kevin Brown, he's not in the Twinkie Mobile here in the truck. He's opted to go into a CBS. He went from, well, he does have Twinkie on the side, but he had CBS Pharmacy. He went from Twinkies to drugs.
Well, that's quite a jump, but I don't know. Maybe Twinkies are the next gateway. So the next gateway drug.
For me, they are. I'll tell you that much.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so there's a lot of really good-looking paint schemes out here, though. Like you said, we're talking about a lot of different drivers, though. I'm curious. We have a lot of people watching. Well over 50 people watching right now, closer to 60 actually. I want to know who you people are rooting for out there in the chat. Who do you think is going to end up winning this? Right now, for me, it's a toss-up. We see Shane Ewing making a jump to the outside. It's pretty much single file here, though, for the front three, and beyond that, the outside line is struggling to get together. But who do you think is going to win this race out there in the chat?
Well, you know, I already see a lot of people out there. Spencer Boyd has a definitely strong following here, along with a lot of the other greats. We know Shane Ewing, his mom always watches the races, loves being out here seeing it. Anthony Navarro, I believe his grandfather or something like that is the one who watches this. We've got a lot of family members throughout the field here that watch a host of these drivers week in and week out, definitely rooting them on. But I'm like you. Hey, let us know. Want to appreciate everybody tuning in here. OSR Network here on Facebook and YouTube here live tonight. Definitely your home for fun and exciting sim racing. And it is exciting, definitely, here at Daytona. We kick off the season. We got a lot of great racing, but look at that outside lane come to life. Tommy Ryan pulls the truck of Tyler Dalton up front and out front for the moment.
Made a fantastic move there. Let's see if Tyler Dalton is happy sitting behind Tommy Ryan, though. Let's see if Tommy Ryan is happy using up all that fuel. Right now you see Shane Ewing on the outside trying to make something work. He's got that 46 truck of Richard Swavely behind him. See if they can make it work, but they don't have any help behind, really.
Remember last week in the duels, we talked about fuel mileage. That first one, we didn't know it, but 30-some laps was the key. It was 35 laps, and a lot of guys ran out with about 2 or 3 to go, so we kind of got an idea of where that pit window is here tonight. We're looking probably about in between 30 and 33 laps here, and we'll probably see pit stops as we're right now. We're on lap 27 of that, so we should start seeing the next 5 laps guys drop off or start seeing guys try to make their way down low. But again, we saw guys in the back save fuel, and they were able to go 35 laps. So is somebody going to be able to try to spread the gap out and make it that long? We're going to see different strategies play out throughout this race if the green flag pit stops start.
You're right. If you pit on lap 30, you're going to have to make 3 pit stops. If you can stretch it to lap 35, and assuming we go green the entire way, which is wishful thinking, I'm sure, but if you can make it to lap 35, you could make the race on only 2 stops. Tires aren't really a limiting factor here. You just have to get that tank packed with fuel. So the longer you can go, you got to get at least 33 laps out of this tank right here, I think. If you're not getting to lap 33 and pitting before then, you're going to be in trouble. This is the pit stop where you really have to push it and make sure you get every drop you can out of your tank.
I'll tell you what, got one out there, man. Again, I want to go back on the Spencer Boyd there. Got a guy out there, Paul Boyd, and obviously he's looking for Spencer. Kind of curious, maybe is that the dad of him, brother of him, father or something like that. Definitely awesome to see. Like I say, I love the family members coming out week in and week out. Fantastic race here to kick off the season. Daytona is always exciting. Go next week to kick this series off here for the kick-ass beef jerky. Appreciate those guys coming on board here. Good one so far. Tommy Ryan's the man out front. Tyler Dalton there in second. Shane Ewing starting in third. As you see them trying to mix it up a little bit. Richard Swavely up there. Anthony Navarro's falling back a little bit. Brendan Keys, he was outside the top 10 just a moment ago. Now he's up to 6th. Looking good. Chris Booz in the 7th there. Kevin Brown 8th. Jason Barham still holding the 9th. David Comstock rounds the top 10, but it's a blanket over the field. We got trucks up high. We got trucks down low. They complete this lap. It is chaos throughout the field, and these guys have just got to be up on top of that wheel.
You're right. I'm seeing a lot of different names out here being watched for people being interested in. Tommy Ryan is a name I'm seeing. Spencer Boyd, a lot of you guys are looking for him. Spencer's riding near the back. Tommy Ryan is riding out near the front, though, the polar opposite. He sits in first. Tyler Dalton in second. Shane Ewing really trying to make that outside work. He's leading the outside line right now. He is sitting in third. Justin Fuller is a little bit further back alongside Spencer Boyd. But someone we haven't mentioned yet really too much, David Comstock. He's back there in 10th. Started in 35th and gained 25 spots here in only 30 laps. But someone we haven't mentioned with arguably the coolest name out here, Storm Patterson. Started 12th, is back to 27th right now, biding his time. But he's got some fans out here as well.
Storm Patterson. Trying to look for his name right now, and I don't up under something different. Said he's in what position now? There
he is now
Storm.
back in 28th, Mr. Storm Patterson.
You know, and we talked about that too. He almost pulled the race, one of the duels out, came out of turn 4, went for the lead, just got caught up in with the leader. Those two was dead. They were doing some dancing with each other and just got up into the wall. He did finish quite well, but he has a great following out there, and like I said, a cool name. I mean, them Hollywood style names out there. I appreciate it out there in the Mr. Keystone corner, as it is a great race here. These drivers make it very exciting. Steve Goschalk, we call him the Nerf Man. Back in 26, you see a lot of these great heavy hitter names here, the Sim500, back in the back. Remember, folks, being a plate track race, you'll see all kinds of different strategies. Guys will go to the front, stay out front, think that that's the safest. Some guys are kind of stuck in the middle. A lot of guys want to fall back to the back, and you're seeing a lot of these names back here that just are kind of just riding for the moment. So we'll see what they do as the race goes on. Pit stops are the key here. That should be coming up here pretty soon.
Coming up in the next couple laps for sure, but Steve Gottschalk is making huge gains to the field. Look at that 38 behind him, though. He's also making it work. That's Chad Coleman. Lets up a little bit, but the outside line is rolling further back. He's gained at least 10 spots, I'd say, Steve Gottschalk has, and he's still rolling. He's sitting behind that 22 of Matt Lacrosse and just cruising through the field, working his way towards the front.
Yes, he is. It's kind of storming off down the back stretch. He's going to get a good run with that draft. You can just see how well that draft plays as he's going to close up probably on that 22. Here
Jeff Ryan
in a
hits
hurry.
pit road.
Oh, okay, so pit stop's already starting. We're at lap 33, which is when we should start seeing them here in the next couple. I think we're going to see a storm of trucks barrel off down on pit road here pretty soon. You got to see guys eventually starting to get down low here or try to see what they can do as they come off down the back stretch. I think that's why maybe that high lane's kind of backing off a little bit here, Jeff, is to try to see if they can get low. You know, you definitely do not want to run out of fuel in turn 1 at this place.
You don't, and we mentioned Jeff Ryan pitted. So did his brother and teammate Tommy Ryan from near the front. So Tommy was probably running really low on fuel, certainly, and a lot closer to running out than Jeff Ryan was.
Pit
Tommy
road
Ryan
busy.
Yeah, pit road is very busy, so a little brotherly love there, but now everyone diving to pit road.
Well, sorry about that. I'll tell you what, but pit road way busy right now, and we got a slew of machines, a lot of the leaders. I mean, probably the first, 10, 11, 12 drivers out there dropped it off down on pit road. Kind of knew it, but as we mentioned before there, Jeff, we knew there was going to be some drivers who would stay out, the ones way back in the back, be able to run this thing. I'm going to say to at least lap 35 or 36. Remember what some of them guys said in the interviews? They ran out of fuel coming into turn 3 and 4, or when they crossed the start-finish line of 35 laps and whatnot. And Anthony Navarro, it says he crashed. Go back on the replay and check and see, did he come out of pit road and lose that thing? Let's watch this replay right fast here, Jeff, just to see what happened. Oh, yeah, he spun it out coming out on pit road.
Oh my goodness, that's a heartbreak. That's a bad mental mistake to make here. He just loops the truck around, unfortunately, a little too much. These are very powerful trucks there. Angela Ruck can tell you that for sure. The car just goes around and he gets it fired back up. Right now, pit stops are still continuing though.
And the good thing is he did not lose a lot of time there. Obviously, not going to come out of the pack, but he can make it up. He'll probably need, a little bit of help here to be able to get it done, but definitely is going to mar him back in traffic, way back in the pack. Again, it's the good thing about this place, as opposed to maybe a 1.5 mile or short track as we see the rest of the field come on pit road, is the fact of you can kind of maybe, if you're still with a pack, if you're not out there by yourself, you might be able to capitalize on a mental mistake. I talk about mental mistakes all the time, which means pit road, missing your marks on turns and anything on the track. Most of the time it's pit stops, missing your box, overshooting your pit road, speeding on pit road, any kind of thing like that can kill you in a race.
It certainly can, and we were talking earlier that these guys are all human. It's very easy to make a mistake, though. Right now, Tommy Ryan, he pitted from the lead. He started out front here tonight. He's got Thomas O'Leary behind him, and behind that, Jeff Ryan. And the 33 is in that party as well, Ryan Howard. Right now, these guys are working their way back around the track, but that's what you want to have right now, is some good friends behind you that'll just stay in line and push and not slow you down. Just stay in line, keep moving quickly, and this could be a really good call to them to pit early. Right at lap 33, you pit lap 33, 67, and then you're on fumes at the end of the race, but they can make it.
Here is one perfect example of what you do not want to do, and maybe it's a mental mistake that I was talking about. David Comstock came out of pit road by himself. He was way ahead of the pack. Now, the good thing is here, the whole field's coming by him. He will be able to get latched onto the tail end, but if he wouldn't have been there, and let's say that would have been way out front like he would have easily been lapped within probably about 4 or 5. The good thing is now he's going to latch on to the tail end, not lose a lot, come back out in 11th. So a disaster that could have happened definitely was avoided, as it looks like, man, Doey Woods off the track. Let's go back and watch, see what happened with him. Oh, he just went up into the wall down on the grass, and he was able to hold on to it. He came back up on the track, spinning around, and he's back on the track. Just looks like that truck just got out from under him.
Yeah, very easy to do. He did a little bit of off-roading there. Man, I'm surprised that didn't bring out a caution, but hey, that was pretty cool. Looking back at that replay, that was pretty cool.
It was, absolutely.
I know, but that was pretty cool to watch, I think.
He just, spun it on around there. Definitely just one of those things happen on the track here, but a lot of dicing around going on up front. They're back at it again. Tommy Ryan out front with Kevin Brown there, Thomas O'Leary, Jose. So the one thing about those pit stops and what it did is it shook the field up quite a lot. You'll see a lot of guys, but still everybody back in a bunch. And you see this, a little bit of a pack, and we've got to go back here to the back. I'm going to say back here maybe Boo before you go to the second pack. Now, they're not too far off, and I think they can get latched on here if they can get single file, that is.
That is the big thing here. When you're racing side by side with somebody, it just slows both of you down, so you don't want to be doing that. Thomas O'Leary right now on the inside with Tommy Ryan leading the outside. That CVS drug truck on the outside making it work. Tommy Ryan is pushing Thomas O'Leary, though. That's the brother of 99 Tommy Ryan. They are making it work right now, doing everything they can. Looks like Tommy Ryan is going to have room to slip down in front. It's a question of if he takes it. He does not, so he will still be sitting on the outside line.
And the thing is, I talk about it, do you leave your dancing partner or you don't? He brought you to the show up front there. He does not. Kevin Brown gives a good push there. Tommy Ryan, I think he feels comfortable up high. As you see him, a good bump draft right there down the back stretch. Several places you don't want to do that in. And about the only time you would ever want to try to do it in is in the last laps there. But going in and out of the turns, through the turns, in and out of the triovers, you just don't want to bump draft. It's disaster if you try it. But again, on the last lap and all's fair and love in racing right there. Those guys they'll be trying to push you in the passenger seat.
Oh, absolutely. They just do everything they can on that final lap, but we're not even close to that final lap yet. We still are only on lap 40. It's taken about 48 seconds to get around here, so what is that? A little over 3/4 of a minute. We got 60 laps to go. Should be another 45 minutes of green flag racing. Just off some quick math right there. So these guys know they have plenty of time to get to the front. They're not even halfway through this race yet. 100 laps is plenty of time to make something happen. Guys are getting a little bit shaky here, but everyone holding on to it. No need for any crazy moves quite yet.
Tell you what's going on out there, Eisenhower. Good for you to stop by. Appreciate all the viewers out there. Appreciate everybody tuning in, kicking off the 2020 series here for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. It was an awesome one at the duels, and they're 3 wide up front right now. I tell you what, can they hold on to it? As you can see, those trucks are dicing around with the man in the middle, the 19, Tyler Dalton. Probably not the spot he wants to be in, but now he's got help with Tommy Ryan. Look at that high lane. I said earlier it was going to come to life. Now they're 3 wide for the lead.
3 wide, 2 rows deep. That outside line is working hard, but not hard enough. Just doesn't have enough to clear the 26 car. The 26 is hung out to dry. The 33 drops down in front of Tommy Ryan. They go around. There goes Dalton. They're all involved. The track is blocked.
crash up front, and I'm gonna tell you what I was about to say. Here comes bow time, man, because that was Justin Fuller came through the field, but man, it wiped him out. Let's go back on the replay, see what happened up front. As ouch, a lot of trucks involved in this one. I think several different views here. That one kind of formed up front there along with Justin Fuller and company. Oh, wow. Go back here and watch again as they come off down the back stretch.
Just a little bit of bump drafting gone wrong. That's all it was. And right now, Justin Fuller, the front end of that car is all sorts of beat up. So everyone there that was involved took plenty of damage. I don't think there's anyone that just, sort of tapped it and got around. You were either in that wreck or you weren't. So we'll see how many cars took damage.
That is, and right there you see it, David Comstock taking a lick coming out of there as he comes down through the back stretch. It was 3 wide up front. Not quite sure. I think it was a 16 machine there. Thought he might have been clear a little bit. Came down. Justin Fuller was there along with it. Next thing you know, just chaos pursued. We talked about it. The big one. Doesn't matter if you're up front and whatnot, but you see Justin Fuller getting hit. David Comstock gets slammed into the wall. The 19's around. The 30's involved in it. It's just the track just does not unforgiving at that point.
Yeah, that's the legacy of the Daytona International Speedway. Storm was in it. There are no fast resets for these guys. Once you're in a wreck, you better get it repaired if you're going to have a chance to get back out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming right into turn 4 is where a lot of the mayhem started here. Watching some different angles, different views, and different drivers. You see a lot of them in the back, too, was involved in this one. But we talked about it earlier. It doesn't matter if you're up front, in the back. You can definitely still get caught up in this mess. You just see the 6 Machine 15 right there. I know John T. was involved in it. Tyler Dalton definitely involved in it here. He was the one up front that originally got hit there by the 19, and then he just got slung up into the wall, slung around. Typical Daytona style racing there. I mean, there's just nowhere to go. You're so close. You see the trucks bouncing around everywhere. No fault of the drivers. Just one little miscue and can end your night.
Unfortunately, that is exactly right. And down there on pit road, Mike Montesi was involved. Tried to get that truck fired up to check his RPM, see how badly the engine was damaged. Well, the engine was damaged pretty badly because as soon as that engine fired up, it blew up in a plume of smoke. So the 7 of Mike Montesi is out of this race, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more.
Absolutely. A lot of drivers involved. I know some are asking out there who was involved. I'll give you a kind of a rundown. I know Tyler Dalton, Brian Macklin, Donnie Leah, like he went off track. Not sure if he had any damage. Chad Cole, John T., Storm, Don Runkle, Tyler Overstreet, Jonathan Lockhart, Tyler Dalton, Nick Silver, Chad Schilling, Randy Yoakum, Brian Macklin, Milt Matisse, Joey Katina, Brian Day, Richard Swavely, Justin Fuller, just to name a few, and David Comstock there, just to name a few. A lot of drivers involved. I'm going to say a good solid 10, 15, but that's Daytona for you. You just never know here what's going to happen. The big one is always lurking around the corner.
It's always there, and there's always at least one. And I say at least, because there can certainly be more. Right now, Spencer Boyd, though, started 29th. He's all the way up to 14th. The biggest mover so far, certainly, though, is Mr. Brian Day, the 60 truck. Started in 43rd all the way up to 15th at the moment. So a lot of big movers forward. Steve Gottschalk, 39th to 12th, 41st to 13th there for John Mustaine Jr. A lot of people are moving towards the front here.
And a lot of them are going to benefit from something like what just happened up front there, hanging in the back, missing this big one there. You're right, like Donnie Leah, for example, who was holding in the back. He definitely made it through. Got some damage. Let's get a closer look at the truck. It looks pretty clean. He might have just went off the track there to avoid it, up like he did. But you're right. He was holding in the back most of the race. Now he's up there in 3rd. Jose Gonzalez, another one to talk about. Ryan Howard right there. Richard Beasley. You mentioned a couple of the other ones. Steve Gottschalk up to 12th. I have to keep our eye on to who is who and what these guys' points are important. I don't really mention it much because obviously it's the start of the season, but points, you definitely want to come out here and try to maximize. If your car's not totally destroyed, you want to come back out here and see what you can do. But Typical Daytona racing, and I know a lot of guys are out in Spencer Boyd. Let's look real quick. Truck looked clean. That kick-ass beef jerky machine, so he was able to avoid it. He's up to 14th. So we talked about it earlier there, Jeff. Guys like him are real NASCAR drivers. He's won at Talladega. He's won at plate-style races before. He kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. We saw him in the dual race. He did get caught up in the wreck there, holding back or whatnot. And I think his mindset was still the same. Just sit back a little bit. Hopefully I'll miss that first big one and then make my move to the front.
I think he knew better than to run near the front here. Just let them do their thing. Right now he's spinning topping off, making sure he's got every single drop of fuel in that tank he can possibly get. Still needs to make only one more stop, though, but only one more stop is a pretty good place to be here. But yeah, he certainly knew something was coming. A big one always happens at Daytona, at least one. So we'll see what he does now, if he'll continue riding near the back or if he's going to start pushing towards the front here.
Well, they went 44 laps, cost them free here. It's an awesome run for these guys. We know it can be done, but again, they're going to pile them back up here. It does help a lot of guys that were maybe towards the back and off the pace due to that green flag pit stop. But under caution for the first time here at Daytona here for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. And Keystone, you're right. A lot of wrecks tend to happen at Daytona. A little bump draft. We mentioned it earlier. Bump draft going wrong. Sometimes the spotter says you're clear, you're not clear. And I think that's maybe an instance there. We also see these trucks bouncing around. Jeff, you and I know that the air, even on the virtual world here of iRacing.com, they have it down to a science. These trucks move around. We've seen a lot of in-car action. These guys are not, sawing at the wheel. They're keeping them pretty steady. It's the air pushing these trucks from side to side and front to back there coming around them that makes those trucks move and bob and weave. And it doesn't take much. If you're really close, next thing you can get clipped very easily.
And just the tiniest touch of getting clipped, that can end your night. It's very easy to happen in these trucks. Very fun to drive, though. Right now, they're a single file here. Seems, but boy, in the back right now, Spencer Boyd is right behind Tommy Ryan. I know Tommy Ryan is going to be working his way towards the front. Let's see if Spencer Boyd is going to be doing the same.
Yeah, let's see if he's going to try to be a little patient here on the start. He's still got a little bit of racing left to go. But up front, you got Kevin Brown and Jose Gonzalez going to duel it out right there along with him. Richard Beasley in that Tide machine. Donnie Leah up front along with him with Chad Cole. Corey Chester there. Milt Matisse along with him. A lot of side-by-side, but out front, it's Kevin Brown going to drop down low along with Richard Beasley. They're going to take it out to the front here for the moment to see what they can do. That high lane's trying to come to life, most notably Steve Goschalk up there with the 30 machine, looks like the 38 machine there of Chad Coleman and the 54 of Milt. They're going to try to bring that high lane to the front.
We saw the high line struggling on, and I don't know if that was just fresh tires or not enough rubber on the track or what the factor was, but the outside line could be working here now that they've all got fresh tires. We've got 50 laps in, roughly a little bit under halfway. These guys are pushing it a little bit harder now because they need to be near the front. If there's not another wreck, which is a very real possibility here, they want to be up near the front.
All right, I'm going to make everybody smile here for a second. Jose Gonzalez, call him Speedy Gonzalez, but he's out there running the Trump Spence 2020 machine out there, and I got to say, he's hoping tonight that he does not have to spend his stimulus money on fixing that truck if he gets into a wreck.
That stimulus money, I heard it's coming out now. I don't know if I'm eligible for it because I theoretically could be claimed as a dependent. I'm not, but I think they changed the rules where if you, I do. I file my own taxes and everything, but I don't know. But theoretically, I could be claimed as a dependent, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I
just had
think
to
I'm
say
going
it
to take
because
that.
he's running the Trump truck. That's why I figured I'd put a smile on some people out there. Jose, good guy though.
He certainly is. I don't know. That stimulus check comes in. I'm going to stimulate the American economy by buying a new computer made right here in the USA. I think that's going to be my goal.
Absolutely, nothing wrong with that. And I tell you what, a lot of these guys, they'll use on their iRacing.com here, folks. I tell you what, check out iRacing.com. The home, motorsport simulator, and it has had a busy several weeks and months here, along with a lot of great racing with a lot of the real drivers out there, along with the Coca-Cola Pro Series that they have. But these guys here tonight putting on an awesome show. Steve Goschalk caught in the middle there. He's going to fall back maybe by design. He's probably seeing us a little hot up front. Maybe I'm going to step back to the back. I've seen what my truck will do for the moment, and that's some good strategy that plays out. But we're here tonight kicking off the season with a big-ass beef jerky. If you want to check out the promo code out there. Let me see if I can get a link for y'all here, and definitely check it out. They can get you some good beef jerky. I've had some in the past. Well, Jason Barham and them out there, definitely some good guys there at Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. If I'm not mistaken, and I should know this already there, Jeff, and slap me later on it, and I apologize. If I'm not mistaken, that is actually made here in NC.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that. But yeah, Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. Shane Ewing to the outside. He's got a heavily damaged truck, and they're working their way around him. But that could be something good to spend at least part of, if not your entire $1,200 on when it comes in. Buy some Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. That's a good way.
That would be a lot of beef jerky. I want to see the person that actually. Yeah, I want to see the person that actually will do that. That would be a lot of beef jerky. $1,200 worth of beef jerky. You're talking there. But hey, these guys out here definitely looking good. But look up front. Chad Coleman on the outside, the man right there, the 38 machine on the outside, looking good. Well, he's got the title sponsor truck, so right now, having himself a kick-ass time up front.
He certainly is. We had some predictions from Doug Roth, says Chad Coleman is going to win this race. We'll see if that is correct. Right now, the 54 tried to work his way in. That's Milt Matisse. Tried to work his way in, didn't quite work out. Kevin Brown is going to fill that spot right behind the 38 of Chad Coleman, give him a push. The 41 chooses to go up to the outside. So does the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. Right now, the outside line is forming up. The 54 has room to go down. We'll see if he does. He chooses to. And right now, up there on the outside, the 29 of Donnie Leah, NASCAR champion, is out there, and he's trying to make it work, running up there in third.
Don't count the man out in the 41 machine, E.J. O'Rourke right there. He's up front, and he was marred back in the back, but now he's got a good fast machine. He's up in that high lane with the three machines there with Jose, and like you said, Donnie Leah. Donnie's bringing it to the front. He knows how to work these trucks. He knows how to get there. He's got Milt down low, though. They're going to battle it out for the lead. They got those 3 or 4 machines up there. Looks like the high lane's forming up. Let's see if they can jump on the bandwagon here and pull around those 2 trucks down low. Remember, here we've seen in the duels last week, Jeff, that we've seen guys actually bring these trucks to the front by themselves, but you're starting to see that high lane form up.
It is. It's always good to have people you can rely on out there behind you. And right now, Donnie Lee is relying on E.J. O'Rourke. Donnie Lee very nearly got clear. I'm him, though. I'm going to make sure that E.J. O'Rourke comes with me. I'm not clear until that 41 is clear, because E.J. is a very, very smart driver. He locked down the championship last season. He's just a very, very smart driver. He knows what he needs to do to get the job done. So if I'm Donnie Lee and I've done my homework, I'm going to say, well, this guy's the defending champion. I might as well have him behind me if anyone's going to do it this race.
Oh, man, absolutely. And I tell you what, it's definitely is playing off right now for Donnie up front there, along with E.J. Mill here in the back. Chad Coleman, I mentioned him before, he's back in 9th place so far. Brian Day outside looking in. Trey Edson and company back in 16th. Tommy Ryan, who was up front earlier on, back in that 99 machine, but he's back there in 18th. Looks pretty good on truck-wise, probably just being a little bit careful. You got Randy Yoakum, Richard Swavely, Spencer back there along with him, John Mustaine Jr., Jonathan Lockhart, Chris Jaboo, who was up front earlier, back in 24th. Now he's back there along with Joey Katina and company, who I think is about a lap down. They're 3 trucks way back there, just trying to stay single file, trying to bring that thing up. They're way off the pace. And right now, I think it's point-style racing for them.
Sit back, be patient, and let the chaos unfold in front of them. They are sure to avoid any wreck that comes up. It could be the smart strategy here. They are banking on another caution. We are 54% of the way through this race for all you math people out there. Lap 54 of 100 done.
That's why I keep the engineer up here in the booth with me. That's Jeff's
my job.
specialty. There you go, man. A mathematician up here, and you're right. Definitely has been a good race. We're past halfway point here. Donnie Leah still's got his nose out front for the moment, but EJ down low. We don't take nothing away from that guy, and Jose up there along with him. Milt Matisse right there in fourth. Kevin Brown looking good. Chad Coleman Again, you don't have to pass that truck out front to win. You just got to get your nose out in front of him to make this thing stick. They storm out of turn number 2 down the back stretch. Here for us to complete this lap, side by side, 2 by 2. They'll come into turn 3. EJ, for the moment, has a nose to come up with some lap traffic, so you got to be careful at this moment.
Right now, that 29 of Donnie Leah was stuck on the outside. They're going around this lap traffic, but they are single file here for the most part. A little bit of 3-wide action a little further back. Right around 7th place, they get that all sorted out. Speaking of people that know and understand NASCAR, though, Eric Estep is here in the chat. He is a NASCAR journalist, I would say, and he put some great videos together. He's out there in the chat watching along, so always great to see that. It is a very fun race, as he mentioned in the chat. These guys are racing their hearts out. They are on lap 56, trying to make something work. We got some big names in here, and every single one of them is out here trying to win this race, and they're just being real smart about it, which is absolutely phenomenal here. Only one caution. It was a big one, but let's see if they can't keep it green the rest of the way here. 55 laps to go.
Absolutely. Hey, how you doing out there, Eric? Appreciate you tuning in there in Keystone. I appreciate everybody out there watching in. And Doug Roth there, Icon the King here at the Sim500. He says, mark his words, Coleman was going to pull this thing off. Well, Chad Coleman right now sits in 7th, and he's hanging on to it, and he's trying to see if he can't muster something up. Maybe trying to be a little patient, like you said. And as always, we're here at Daytona live tonight. Start of the 2020 season here for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. Then about a Sim500. Good one so far. We've only had one caution here tonight. We're at lap 57 of 100 here. And that is phenomenal, to say the least. Appreciate everybody here on the Facebook and YouTube side. If you like what you see, hit a like, hit a follow, hit a share. Always appreciate it. Know the league does too. As week in and week out, we're going to bring this awesome series racing of the trucks here for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky.
Kick-Ass Beef Jerky, they chose the right place to sponsor, I can assure you of that. Right now, Spencer Boyd is hanging back. He's sort of in limbo. He's 13.5 seconds off of our leader. He's about 11 seconds behind the guy in front of him in 20th. That's Richard Swabley. And he's about 6 seconds, ahead of John Mustaine Jr. So right now, he's got nobody with him. He's sort of out there just chilling by himself. He's sitting in 21st, still on the lead lap, but he's got a pack of 2 cars behind him. That's John Mustaine Jr. and Jonathan Lockhart behind him. I think that's the smart move. He feels something in the air and thinks, okay, we're going to see something else here right now. So he's hanging back. That could be a sign of things to come if he's got a bad feeling.
Right now, I tell you, they're looking good up front. EJ O'Rourke's trying to lead this pack to the... He's on the hope he's going to be that last truck there in the green. He's got Milt Matisse up top there along with Jose Gonzalez, pushing away. Richard Beasley, he's falling off back to the back. Donnie Leah's back to 5th place so far. Tyler Overstreet up to 13th. As a lot of racing left here at Daytona, kicking off this series, and a good one so far. I think these guys right now up front, they saw that big one earlier on. Now they're just, remember I talked about patience earlier. Whoa, what a bump draft on Jose Gonzalez. I'm about to say patience right there, but that actually got Jose almost squarely. We about saw round 2 of the big one there.
Yeah, that was a really, really big bump by Donnie Leah in the 29 there. I don't think there was any sort of malicious intent, but just a really big run coming up. And right there, we talked earlier about not really being able to see ahead of the guy in front of you. That could have played into that roll right there. Let's see the 54, Milt Matisse. Let's see if he goes down to the bottom. He thinks about it, thinks better of it, wants to take Jose Gonzalez with him. So right now, he's going to get another push and make another run at our leader, EJ O'Rourke, defending champion. Wouldn't that be quite a statement to come out here and win this race, the first race of the season? You go out, you win it, you show who's still the boss.
There you go. I tell you, that's the game plan. To come out here and win the first race. It lays down the mark for the rest of the season here. Kind of eases up on you a little bit, but you're right. Milt right there thought about going low, but he decided to stay up there with his dancing partner of Jose Gonzalez, as they've been working together quite well. You see Jose, boy, he is pushing for everything he's worth, heading off into the tri-oval. He's going to push Milt there. I think they both want to get down low, but just can't quite get past EJ. Yeah, but I tell you what, he left Milt out to dry.
Man, he certainly did leave Milt out to dry, and that's, I believe, the second time that's happened for him. So maybe that plays into the frustration here. But a NASCAR champion certainly has the patience needed. Two-time champion, I should say. And he's won in the Gander Outdoor Truck Series a couple years ago as well. I think he's got the patience needed. We'll see how he's able to manage his way through the race. 40 laps to go.
And there's a good one so far out front, Jose Gonzalez. Hey, boy, Spencer, he's got a definitely a fan club. He's back in 23rd right now. The truck looks clean. Problem is he's back there in a whole pack way off. He would need I would say at this point, going to need a caution to maybe catch up to the rest of that field because they're so far off the pace.
I think you're right. You really need 3 trucks put together here if you're going to have a chance at it. I don't particularly care for the strategy of the 14, the 5, and the 83. You want to be further back away from the pack if you want to avoid the cautions, but you don't want to be a lap down because now only one of them is going to get the lucky dog if there even is another caution, and the other 2 are going to be trapped a lap down. So we could see some infighting there in that group of 3 that have been working together so far because only one of them can get the lucky dog.
And you're right, and that's the thing you've got to keep in mind. From 24th on back right now, Chris Jabu is the first truck a lap down. Joey Katina is 2 laps down, so Chris Jabu would be the man that would be, if there was a caution, he would get the lucky dog. The guy right now outside looking in is Spencer Boyd in 23rd position, so that is not a place you want to be. He's way off the pace. He's 27 seconds back. We know it takes around about 50-some seconds to get around, 48 to 50-some seconds to get around here. I want to say he's about a half track or more back. It won't take long, maybe another 5 or 7 laps. He's going to be right there on top of the leaders. He's going to need something to happen. We don't want to wish upon a caution. That's definitely what's in the back of his mind. Hopefully there's one that will fly to get him back in contention of this race.
There's some people out here that really want a caution, and there's a lot of people saying, no, leave it green. And right now, I think Donnie Leah is at the top of that list. He's been running well. He's running in the front position right now in first place. He's got Milt Matisse behind him, and he's got a straight line of cars. He's got to wait for a outside line. Everyone else has to wait for an outside line to form up before they even get a chance to make a run on him here. You see the 11 car. That is Richard Beasley, gets sort of hung out to dry. Thought about making an outside line. He had someone join him, and they ducked back into line right there. E.J. O'Rourke is painting that double yellow line, though, just running on the bottom, biding his time. You don't win the race on lap 64, you win it on lap 100. So he is just being patient, running near the front, doing what he needs to do. And right now, I think we're going to see some pit stops coming up in the next 10 laps.
I think we are, too. It should be coming around here pretty soon. I tell you, Robert out there says don't sleep on the 46 machine right there. Richard Spavely, he was up front earlier on. He's back in 20th. He's still stuck to the tail end of the front pack there, so you definitely don't. He's got a shot in this one. The truck looks clean. He's just biding his time riding right now, and you're right. I think green flag pit stops should start happening here, maybe in the next 10 laps or so?
I would say so. We saw people coming in and topping off around lap 40, and they can make it from 33 to 36 laps is the pit window. So, right, yeah, about 10, 11 laps is going to be the end of the pit window. These guys are going to need to come in soon.
You see them right now, everybody formed up single file. First time we've seen that here the entire race. I think that is anticipation of getting down low to go into pit road. Now, they saw up front what happened, but with this whole pack, I mean all the way back here in a single file, it's going to make it even that much harder for guys that are back there in the smaller packs of 3 and 4 to catch up, because as long as they're not single file or double file up front, this single file freight train are just going to pull away. And I know out there, old Keystone asked, do we think it's going to go green or a wreck? Well, we would love to see it go green all the way out. I would personally, but it's Daytona, and you just never know. As this race goes on, Jeff, you and I know these guys' patience will wear thin, tempers will rear up. Right now, they're being patient on the drag, but I said before, they're going to close that gap, and they're going to start pushing and pushing hard to try to win this race.
They certainly are going to start pushing and pushing hard to win it, just like he said. I really don't know if this race is going to be able to go green the rest of the way. It's difficult, but we have already seen a pretty big wreck. Seeing 2 of them isn't unheard of, but at the same time, we could get away without it. I think Donnie Leah is hoping this race goes green. He needs to make it to around, well, as long as you pit from this point on, from right now on, you can make it to the end without a green-white checkered. I think you need to push it, though, to lap 75, 76 or so. just to be safe in case of the event of a green, white, checkered, or multiple. You can save fuel and make it all the way around and not have to pit again. If you pit, I would say after lap 75.
I agree with you on that one there. Definitely safe and sorry, because you got to bring in that green, white, checkered. Always can play a factor at the end of these races. You know, that puts in another 2 to 3 laps there, and at a huge track like here, 2.5 miles, a mega super speedway here at Daytona. We talked about Spencer Boyd being right there on the tail end. He is in 23rd. He's the last truck sitting on the lead lap. He was 27 seconds back. Now he's 31 seconds back. You can see just what that single file freight train is doing to those guys in the back in those 3 and 4 little packs. They're losing ground. There's no way they're going to catch up. He's probably the one out there saying, please let him be another caution out here so I can catch up before I go a lap down. Like you said, Donnie Leah on the other spectrum, he's going, no, let's keep this thing green, get past the green flag pit stops, let's take it to the end here and see what we got.
You hit the nail on the head right there. Spencer Boyd needs a caution. This is a bold strategy to run near the back. Not really an unwise one. I think it's a good idea. It's just a gamble, though. We'll see if the gamble plays out his way. Donnie Leah, though, he's right now in the best position of anyone. Another thing to keep in mind, pit stops here are pretty difficult. Everyone has their own way of making pit road, and you're going from about 180 down to 55 miles an hour at the entrance of pit road. That's not easy, and some guys will try and push it and slam their brakes at the end and just barely make it in. Other guys like to slow down and over a longer stretch. And right now, we hear the first of the people going in. Right now, that is the number 15 of Nick Silver is going to be pitting. We'll see who follows because they can make it to the end. 69 laps down. A lot of guys are jumping in as well. This is the big move of the race, the final pit stop.
Absolutely. You got about 7 or 8 different machines there dropping off on pit road. Looks like Anthony Navarro, Jose, Kevin Brown, Chad Cole, Nick Silver, Steve Goschalk, just to name a few, was talking about it back there. John Mustaine, Jonathan Lockhart, Spencer Boyd, and I believe it's Chris Jabou, all locked up into 4 trucks there, but those 4 trucks locked up together just cannot do anything with the almost 20 trucks up front that were single file, Donnie Leah and company. As long as they stay single file, they're just going to keep pulling away from the pack as they are, but definitely pit stops are going to come up here within the next lap or so. Like you said, I'm going to say you said earlier the safest, 75. I'm going to still say 75's got to be the number. Maybe 72. I know you're the math man out there. At 72, how long would that put them being out here on fuel?
They would be able to make it theoretically to about lap 108, 109. But if there's green flag pit stops, I think if you pit lap 72, you'll be okay. If there's 3 green, white, checkers, but you're going to have to really save fuel under those cautions. If you don't come in and pit, you're going to have to be shutting off your engine, cruising around in 4th gear with the clutch in and everything else. You just got to do everything you can to save every last drop of fuel. Because if you run out of fuel on the front stretch, it's 2.5 miles to coast, and you're probably not going to make it.
There you go, and I'll tell you right now, it's a really, really good one here. As green flag pit stops are about to be underway out front here at lap 71, and we already see the 29. That's the leader come off. Donnie Leah drops it off at lap 71. I think this is kind of answer a question. In between lap 70 and 75 is going to be the norm here. Is Milt Batiste, the man out front right now.
He's been pretty quiet this whole race. He started all the way back in 21st, and now he's leading the way. E.J. O'Rourke started 25th and is now in 2nd. Chad Coleman, 31st, all the way to 4th. Trey Edson, 27th to 6th. A lot of big movers here. 43rd to 12th for Brian Day. Started dead last. He's now all the way up to 12th, excuse me. And Tommy Ryan, we've sort of forgotten about him. Started on the pole. He is now sitting in 10th. So not out of this race by any stretch of the imagination.
No, he's not. As he's just coming off pit road, complete his pit stop here. Absolutely, yeah, 20-some trucks, you're right. And it could get crazy as pit stops. And E.J. O'Rourke on pit road right now, along with Tyler Overstreet, Robert Gillenwater, Trey Edson, Chad Coleman along with him. And Milt decides to stay out with Corey Chester. I asked you, how smart of a move is this? Because, boy, those are 2 trucks out there. Didn't come in with the pack. Now they're going to need some help.
That's a bold move, Cotton. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. Right now, Milt Matisse, he's got Corey Chester right behind him, but you don't want to be alone. You really don't want to be alone, and if those two get separated on pit road or on the exit of it or something, that's going to spell disaster for them. Even worse for them, EJ O'Rourke and that whole crew, Trey Edson, they had fantastic pit stops. Right now, they have the 9 behind them as well, Tyler Overstreet. They are all lined up in good shape. That's 4 strong trucks that are all pretty close to each other that can really make something happen.
And I think the pack you need to look at is Anthony DeBarro, Jose Gonzalez, Nick Silver, Chad Coleman right there as they come storming off around those. That's about 2, 4, that's 6 machines right there, all single file. I think they're going to try to stay single file to the end of this one. Could get chaotic real easily. Got to go back to Brian Day and company here, and Chad Coleman. They're hooked up there in a pack. Trey Edson and company. I think a lot of those will be able to get up in one big pack. If they can get in a big pack here, Jeff, I think they might be able to come in. As you see, Milt and Corey both on pit road for the moment.
Coming down pit road, making their final pit stop right now, though, EJ O'Rourke is working his way in the pack. He's sitting there on the bottom on the inside. Currently scored 14th as he's cycling around with pit stops and everything else, but he's behind Tommy Ryan. Keep that in mind. Tommy Ryan is now ahead of him. This could be a really great move for Ryan. And right now, I'm not seeing his brother. Oh, his brother was involved in the earlier wreck. That's right. He was involved in the big one and is out of this race. So being out there without your support, it's a bit scary, really. So now he's got to make this work all on his own. He's got no help out there. We'll see if he's going to be like Ricky Bobby and drive it to the front, or like Cal Naughton Jr. and back off. He's got no help.
Top 6 machines, single file. Richard Beasley and company, though, you got to go to the next pack. They're going to have to get single file if they want to run down them up there. They're still side by side. That is for 7th on back. That's Richard Beasley, Tommy Ryan, Donnie Leah, Ryan Howard and company in that one. A lot of trucks, but you see them right now, 5 high, 4 low. You're just going to have to sort that out if they want to catch those trucks in the front. We're going to have to keep an eye on what the lap times are. I say they're going to have to get single file to catch them, but sometimes I've been fooled here on plate tracks. They've got enough, speed and power and a good puller out front. Might still be able to run down those 6 machines up there.
Certainly nobody is out of this race right now, though. Steve Gottschalk has got about 4 seconds back to Richard Beasley in 7th. That's a lot of ground here. And even worse for them, for that pack behind that 11 truck of Richard Beasley, they're side by side. You don't want to do that. You want to be single file, all in a row, pushing each other, not battling for position like they're seeing. If these guys don't get single file and straighten it out, that's a lot of trouble right there.
Yes, it is. Ryan Howard right now trying to work the wheel. You see him. You see that truck right there. You see him on the steering wheel. He's not sawing at it, kind of keeping it even, but you still see the truck dancing around. And before, that's just the air and the draft that these guys are feeling inside those machines. Good shot there as he gives a little bit of a bump draft to the machine in front of him. They are still 4 trucks high. This is about 8th on back here, 7th on back, because Steve Gottschalk hangs on to the tail end. And I said earlier, did they catch that pack? And I'm looking at the lap times right now, or looking at the times. Donnie Leah for the moment, or excuse me, Richard Beasley there for the moment, seems to be catching Steve. He's kind of, laying off the backside there. So that pack back there is not losing a lot of ground. They're not really gaining a lot of ground either.
Right, they're gaining about 3/10 a lap on the guys ahead of them, and assuming they keep up that pace, it'll take them 10 laps to catch back up. But there's no promise of that at all. So if these guys stay double wide, that's really going to be difficult, and it's killing a lot of time. I think they could probably get there in 7 or 8 laps versus the 10 where they're pacing at now if they just got in a row and got single file.
We can sit up here and we can sit that awesome word. We can assume all day long why they're not getting single file, but it is harder than it looks out there. You're stuck on the outside, and most notably Ryan Howard there, along with Tommy Ryan. They're just stuck. Now, Tommy could drop down, but he looks at that 33 behind him who pushed him up there, Ryan Howard. They're going to try to see if they can get those 3 machines in the front. I'm with you. If they could get single file, they definitely could run that front pack down, but easier said than done here to try to get it done up there. Once you're stuck on that outside lane, it's very difficult to get down low. It's kind of like a brick wall. Once you get out front there, it's easy when you're behind a truck. But once you get out there on your own or trying to go to the front side, it's like it stops you instantly.
You hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, they are working their way through lap traffic as well. They are gaining. They are, don't get us
truck
wrong,
around.
They are gaining. Trouble, though. Caution.
Yes, it is. The 20 machine is around. Man, I tell you what, right there, caution is out. Saw the 20 go around there. Trey Edson. I do not think he hit anything. Then my thing pops up here, so I can go back on replay, but I don't think he hit anything. He got turned. We saw it there live, but he was in that second pack we were watching. Hey, we said earlier, who's this benefit? Guys like Spencer and them back there who was about to go a lap down. Donnie Leah, though, definitely doesn't want to see it, but yeah, I'm trying to see if, wait till my thing pops up. It looks like it's not going to pop up here and take it back on a replay, but we saw it out live there, Jeff. And it looks like, Trey Edson just got, a little bit of, again, saw the trucks moving around, bumping, drafting right there a little bit, just got turned instantly, caution out.
Just the slightest tap from that A-car. Randy Oakham sent him around, but Trey Edson did exactly what he needed to do, which was stand on the brake pedal, let the truck slide to a stop without hitting anything. No damage right now, so he's going to come down, probably get 4 fresh tires, pack it with a little bit of fuel, and just to be extra super safe. Right now, though, they have about 22 laps to go to the end of this race. Excuse me, 21 laps to go. We're on lap 80. So they have 21 laps to go here. They have enough fuel to make it to the end, so we could see guys stay out because tires really don't impact you that much here.
I hear that, no doubt about it. Anthony DeBarro looking good. Jose there in second. And Jacob, I like your thinking out there. I really do. And if you're signing on the petition, please sign up there on the OSR network also, because that would just be awesome. But yeah, I agree with you on there. Awesome racing tonight here at Daytona for the kick-ass beef jerky truck series here, kicking it off 2020 style. Good one so far. Under caution 2 here. There looks like a single truck incident. Anthony DeBarro up front in this one, but a lot of great racing. And we're getting down here to where I said it. We're going to be under 20 to go. And Jeff, this is the point where you start wanting to figure out, what do I got to do? Where do I got to position myself to be out front? What do I have to do to put my truck in a position to win? And where do I have to be at? We've seen guys be patient in the back all race long. Now's the time when you try to start making those moves. Might be a little early for a plate track, but you're getting close to that 10 laps to go, so we'll start seeing some strategies play out.
I don't think it's too early at all to go out there and make some moves. I think we're going to see a lot of it here. This is exactly what Spencer Boyd needed. He's sitting 19th right now. He can work his way up through this pack, try and make something happen. And I'll tell you what, he has the talent because his name's Spencer Boyd. We know he has the talent. But because everyone knows that that's Spencer Boyd right there, I think he's going to be able to work with other people around him. People are willing to help him out. They know they can trust him, and that's a big thing here. You want to be around people that you know you can trust, people you've been working with this whole race, and people you know are good. So keep an eye on that. See who sticks with who. Maybe we won't see someone that jumps down once they get clear. They'll wait and take the guy that's been pushing them with them, just to be sure they've got some friends at the end of this race. That's what you want more than anything else, is a good friend that'll push you behind you and not try and screw you over and take the win away.
Well, one guy right now is saying he has no friends. He's out front, and that's Anthony DeBarro. He knows everybody wants the position he's got. Jose's there in second, Nick Silver, Chad Coleman, and Kevin Brown around the top 5. And I've always said it, being out front is not the place you want to be. It's not the best place to be here when you get down to the closing laps, because a slingshot move. You don't have to pass them. You just got to get that nose out front ever so slightly. So Anthony DeBarro right now, even if he had a teammate, still doesn't mean you got friends up there, because everybody wants to win this race. Count out the guys like Donnie Leah, Tommy Ryan, who's back up tonight, Chad Coleman right there in 10th, Richard Beasley. A lot of these guys could jump up here at any moment, any time, and win this race here in the closing laps.
If your truck is running, you're not down on horsepower, and you don't have too much fender damage or anything else, and you're on the lead lap, I'd say you got a real good chance of winning this race. You can't count anyone out. If you're on the lead lap here, you're going to have a good time here and a good chance at winning this race.
Remember we talked about the dual race 2 last week. A lot of the trucks up front after that big one was all tore up. and it kind of equalized out. Well, now it's kind of a little bit opposite here as we're getting set here soon to go back green. All the trucks good, fenders clean up front, so it's still anybody's race out here and can be. Kevin Brown up there in 5th. He's, I'm going to go ahead and put out on a limb. If you're sitting probably, I'm going to say anywhere from 4th on back, you're sitting in a very, very good position. I always liked it strategy-wise. Could be the wrong strategy, but I always like sitting maybe 3rd on back there or 4th on back. Didn't like the out front move. Being out front, you just kind of was a sitting duck. I think you could get, people now are going to be able to get the draft. We've seen the high lane come to life. One thing we have not seen all night long that we saw in the duels is the 3rd lane come to pass. I feel like that's going to form up here soon. Somebody's going to test the waters up there on the way, way high line.
Not a bad idea at all if they go up to the outside. We've seen it work. There's enough room to make it work. And if you time the move right, you get a good slingshot going. You can drop it into another gear, it feels like, and just fly by everyone else. You don't always need someone behind you when you're making moves like that, though. A single truck can go out and make passes on the outside. And I know that sounds crazy, and it goes against everything you've seen all night. But one single truck, if they time the move correctly, they just absolutely stay with their foot to the floor. They can make passes all the way up in that 3rd lane and make something happen. So keep an eye on that as well.
So far, so good out front. I mean, it has been a pretty calm race to be Daytona. I don't want to say that too early because we still got some racing left here to get done. But what is this? Caution 3 tonight here? It's not too bad so far.
I think it's caution number 2. I could be wrong.
I think, well, yeah. But we had the big one.
We had the big one.
Yep, 2. My bad. I'll get
number
my math
2.
right there.
Hey.
Oh, sorry about that. I'll get my math right out there eventually.
No, that's my job up here in the booth. You don't worry about the numbers. I got you there.
There we
worry.
go. Like I said before, that's why I keep the engineer up here with me, man. Folks, it's been a good one here as we're getting set to go back green. Guys are getting up there, double file again. This is where it gets really dicey. Closing laps. I've thrown around that word patience all race long, but I know Jeff always says, where's that come from? Well, in the early part, yes, but we're getting to that point now. Forget about it. We're almost at 15 to go. Remember, still could be a green-white checker. There's a pace truck coming out of turn 4. The light's off here, and out front, Anthony DeBarro along with Jose Gonzalez. They know each other very, very well. Chad Cole. Remember, I said the Iceman. He'll be there at the end. Always is. He's calm, cool, and collective. He's up to 3rd. Nick Silver, Steve Goschalk's, a lot of the veterans there. Pace truck in. Green flag flies. We're back racing at Daytona.
DeBarro gets a great jump on the outside. He's going to slide down into the middle. Let's see if the 17 is able to clear Jose Gonzalez. Barely does. Right now, Gonzalez is sitting 3rd on the inside line, and it's all but single file. Steve Gottschalk is hung out to dry. He's got a lot of room behind him to fall back. He's going to lose some positions here, but the 38 and the 9 on the outside are going to try and make it work. You see the 4 truck up there as well, but the inside line is stacked nose to tail right now. You can't fit anything between those guys. Everyone's going to be pushing hard, but a big run on the outside is coming with Steve Gottschalk leading the way.
Down the backstretch, turn 3. You're right. Steve Gottschalk has a freight train and a bullet coming to the front here as the laps are winding down at Daytona to kick off this kick-ass beef jerky truck series here tonight. Anthony DeBarro, I said he's in a place that he does not want to be. Jose thought about going high, but that outside lane has got too much steam coming to the front. Wasn't able to get up there. Can Chad Cole maybe jump to the high lane and take it? No, Steve Gottschalk still there and gets a bump draft
he gets
and held on to it.
Loose.
Whoa, that was close, wasn't it, Jeff?
Oh, they're going around. Tommy Ryan's involved. Looks like everyone's holding it together, but right now they're going around. No caution is out, though. They might have been able to hold it together. Wow, Tommy Ryan involved, though, and he's dropping back far.
Let's see if the caution flies, but let's go back on the replay right here and watch that again from John Mustaine Jr.'s point of view. You're right, Tommy Ryan, he got checked up front in the mayhem. We're watching the turn. We're watching this replay real quick just to show you what happened here. We're coming from John Mustaine's view because he went off track. It was heading off into turn 1. We saw it there live, and yeah, Steve Gottschalk just got a bump draft going into the turn, got out of whack, and you saw John Mustaine right there went around, and I don't know how in the world a caution did not fly because trucks did go everywhere there. He got off the racing surface. I think that was the biggest issue that was able to help them out. We're still on the green up front. Chad Cole and company with Kevin Brown. I said don't count Chad Cole out. Jose, though, up top. Here comes Kevin to the front. He's bringing a high lane with him.
I'm still in shock that wasn't a caution, but rolling the outside right now, you see that is that the 93 truck making it work, but Jose on the bottom in the 26. That Trump Pence machine is looking to win. He's pushing that 17 with all he's got. 15 laps to go here. Doesn't need to make the move now, but it's in the back of his mind when he's going to do it, because you know it's coming.
I always say, usually with about 20 to 15 to go, business is picking up. Run what you brung. It is go time, but right now on a plate track, still a little early. I'm going to say with about 5 laps to go is when you want to start bringing up the heat on the track. But you're seeing these guys starting to push a little bit more up front. You have got nose to tail, side-by-side racing in turn 3 right now for Chad Cole, Kevin Brown, Jose Gonzalez. There is a good solid 8 machines high and a whole slew of them down low. It is anybody's race in that top pack right now.
Certainly is. Spencer Boyd is at the tail end of this lead pack right now, side by side with Steve Gottschalk. He's not doing anything crazy quite yet. He's sitting and biding his time. He knows that he's been sitting in the mid pack the entire race, if not further back towards the tail end of the field, the entire race, and everyone's been sort of wondering when he's going to make the move, I think there's only one person that knows it, and that is Spencer Boyd. 13 laps to go here. He's getting ready, but he's just cruising further back. He doesn't need to do anything crazy quite yet. So right now, though, a battle at the front. That outside line is trying to get together and working. We'll see if they're able to get a good run on this 17 car. Chad Cole, he remains the leader.
Yes, he does. Don't count out another man that's up front here. We haven't really talked much or seen much out of him all night long. Been kind of quiet. Tyler Overstreet up to 6th place right now. Looking very, very good. Hanging on to that one. He's on the outside lane with the 15 right there with Nick Silver pushing. And the 54, Milt Matisse. Remember, Milt early on almost got caught up. Remember, he was one of those ones. This actually, the last caution helped him. Remember, he pitted off cycle on the green flag pit stops. He thought it might have been, a way he thought it maybe would have been a little bad idea at the time. Definitely right now he's up to 10th and he's back in that top pack, so he can win this thing.
Anyone in this front pack can win it. Steve Gottschalk is at the tail end of it. I think even he still has a shot at it. Spencer Boyd is right in front of him. EJ O'Rourke a little bit further back. A lot of big players are certainly still in this lead pack. Really, there's 14, 15 different guys that can win this race at the moment right now. If there's a caution, man, that'll bring a whole lot more into it, though.
Well, I'll tell you what, you talk about Spencer, he has had an up and down roller coaster of a race. Been way back in 30th-some position most of it. Had to avoid the big one earlier on. He got caught up with 3 trucks there, was almost to go a lap down. Got a good caution and fell his way. Now he is hooked to the back end of this tail pack. And I think right now he's just being kind of patient. We're going to see when does he make that move. You can see him kind of hanging off of that back pack. That's just showing the patience there. He knows it can happen at any moment up front. He wants to be able to have that time to react, because the reaction time, well, it happens so quick that a lot of times you can get caught up into it real easily if something happens in front of you.
Rex, this is a big track. It's a very large track. You can race 3, sometimes even 4 wide, but that doesn't mean there's always enough room to avoid a wreck when it happens in front of you. You have to be careful. A lot of patience here from all these guys, and that's been the key word of the night is patience. Who's going to be the master of it? Who's going to be able to win this race? 10 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway, 25 miles.
Absolutely kicking off here, the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series tonight, Daytona. Well, they crossed the line, going to be less than 10 to go here. Do they take it all the way green, or will they just have a pile-up around the track somewhere, somehow? You've got a slew of machines up there battling out. Any one of those guys definitely could pull off the win. Chad Cole, for the moment, has it by a nose out front, along with Kevin Brown there up high. Jose Gonzalez, Chad Coleman, Anthony Navarro, Tyler Overstreet, Nick Silver, Donnie Leah, Milt Matisse, and Richard Beasley rounds the whole top 10. But it's all the way back to Spencer Boyd there in 14th, 15th spot. So the top 15 machines all right there locked up like glue.
They are. Donnie Leah is another name. He's a 2-time NASCAR champion, and he's won in the NASCAR Gander Outdoor Truck Series. So has Spencer Boyd. But Donnie Leah as well knows how to get it done here. Don't sleep on him. He's 4th on the inside line. He can really make something happen here. 9 laps to go. Plenty of time to still make these moves. I think Spencer Boyd, though, it's starting to get down to crunch time. He needs to flex his muscles and make something happen sooner rather than later.
And right now, you're just trying to see what you can do. If you're down low, there's not a lot you can do when they're stuck up, right there side by side. You can hopefully see if one lane's moving or another. You see Chad Cole and Jose Gonzalez is going to squeeze down low behind Chad for the moment and see if he can't push him out there. They know each other very, very well, but that's going to leave Kevin Brown up high to try to pull that high lane to the front. Again, Chad Coleman there behind him in the 38 machine. He's got the kick-ass beef jerky truck. Looking good. Can he put it in victory lane? Don't count out Tyler Overstreet. Like you said, Donnie Leah, Nick Silver, Richard Beasley, and Milt right there. All in the top 10, but they're coming up on some lap traffic. Depends on what that lap traffic's going to do.
We'll have to see. Right now, the outside lane is getting some work. The 54 and the 33 are riding the outside. Milt, Matisse, and Ryan Howard, but that is lap traffic ahead. They're going to have to sort this out quickly. It's about to get chaotic with these lap cars. This is not going well. There it goes. Caution is going to come out here. Another big wreck.
Oh, yes, it is, and it happened up front there. Milt, Tyler Overstreet involved in it. Oh, let's go and see what happened on the replay on that one. That happened up front there. It happened around the lap cars. A lot of these guys were trying just to get out of the way. Like the 83 machine there. Oh, that's not Robert Gilliwater.
Yeah, those lap cars didn't really do anything wrong. They were running the outside. It's just they ran out of racing room right there and caused a wreck.
And it was. I mean, a lot of people are like, man, the lap traffic there. Those guys were 3 wide and 2 wide. And when you're running that close, they were trying to get in position to move around the lap cars. It was just the speed difference. You just came up on them so close right there, and it looked like Anthony DeBarro tried to move up the track. And next thing you know, chaos ensued from that moment on. Let's go from Shane Ewing's view here and see what he saw. Oh, yeah, a lot of great cars, and Shane just nowhere to go. Looks like actually Shane, thought he got through it. Got clipped from behind there.
So close to getting through, and then just the tiniest touch sent that truck around, unfortunately, for Shane Ewing.
Chaos in the turn here. Watch it again on the replay. Again, a couple different angles, a couple different views on some drivers here. Along with Nick Silver, let's see what he saw on his. He just saw trucks in front of him go around everywhere. Nothing he could do, just got caught up in the middle of it. And it's just, once it happens in front of you, not a lot you can do.
No, it's like we said earlier, there's a lot of room to race here, but sometimes you just run out of room to avoid wrecks, and there's really nothing you can do, and that's unfortunately the case of what happened right here.
And it's go time. We talk about it, early on the race, they might have been a little bit more spread out, patient on it, but at this moment right here, you've got to go all out. E.J. O'Rourke tried to avoid it, and actually looks like he did. He was able to get down on very low and get around that. Job by him to avoid the wreck there, come out of it clean. But now, here we go, Jeff. This shouldn't put us in a green-white checker. Theoretically could still have a green-white checkered if we go green and a caution comes out within a lap or so. We could have a green-white checkered here because we should get back racing before they take the white flag. I know in the old days of iRacing, I always said 5 or less, the race was over for caution flew. This one's going to be close to being on that mark. I think we were at lap with about 6 or 7 to go when the caution flew. So I think we're going to go back green maybe with about 3 or 4 left here. So theoretically, we still could have a green-white checkered, depending on how well these guys get around the track. Obviously, if they take the white flag, it's over with here. Chad Cole, I mentioned earlier about Anthony DeBarro not wanting to be out front. Chad Cole's the man now not wanting to be out front. Got to look. Jose's there. Anthony's in 3rd. Donnie Leah still 4th. Old Richard Beasley 5th. Spencer Boyd to 6th. Got Nick Silver to 7th. E.J. O'Rourke to 8th. Steve Gostrike to 9th. And Brian Day to 10th. In anybody's race so far.
You're absolutely right. It is anybody's race right now. You take a look at Spencer Boyd, though. He's got some front end damage. He ran into the back of a car. I believe it might have been the 54 that he hit, Milt Matisse. But Spencer Boyd has a bit of front end damage. I don't think it'll kill him. I don't think he's down on power per se. But that certainly will hurt the truck, and he's going to have to drive it a lot harder and have some good luck if he's going to get around some people here.
Going to need some help, and I think he's smart enough to know that with that front end damage. Either way, if he gets out there by himself, that draft will be like he hit a brick wall and just nowhere to go. If he's got help to get to the front, I've said it many a times though, he can make a slingshot move with help. He only has to get a fender out front. He does not have to pass the truck totally. Just got to get that fender out front going across. So it's going to be, he's going to need some help from other drivers. Doing it by himself, I don't see it happening. Could be wrong. You know, miracles happen every day, but I'm going to say with the damage on the nose like it is, trying to drive that thing to the front, especially with so many other clean machines out there, he's going to need some help. If he stays tucked up behind someone, utilizes the draft, again, knowing what, real life experience can transfer over here to iRacing a lot. We see it every day. He knows that here, Jeff. He knows the condition of that truck. He knows what the air is going to do to it. He knows what this track is going to do. I bet you if you watch him, he's going to try to stay tucked up the best he can to a truck in front of him. That allows that air to move around the truck instead of in the front and over it. And it pretty much wipes out that damage he's got on the nose.
You're right. Essentially, when these guys are driving, there's a pocket of air behind them. That's what the draft is, and these cars are able to suck up to one another. It's like a vacuum where it just pulls you right in. So if he's in that pocket and the air isn't ever even touching that front end, it's exactly like you said. It's like it's not even there, but it's hard to stay up there and keep with the pace of the guys in front of you. So we'll see if he's able to do it. Donnie Leah, another driver with a lot of experience, a lot of skill, and he is sitting in fourth right now with no damage whatsoever. He's got to get around Chad Cole, Jose Gonzalez, and Anthony DeBarro. That's a tall order.
Yes, it is. Come out of here. The one thing, the silver lining out of all this is a lot of these drivers, even if they don't win, can come out of here with a good finish as long as they stay clean to the end here. And that's what you want, a good points day to say you came out of Daytona. Because for a lot of people, Daytona does not start. In reality, it starts the season. But to a lot of drivers, their season doesn't start till next week and the next race that starts. That's when they say the real racing and the real talent gets out on the track. And I've said it before in the past, skill on this track, it's more about luck where you're at. I'm going to say it doesn't take skill to wheel these trucks, but it is plate track racing. Sometimes you just got to be in the right place, right time, and have a little luck.
Luck is a big thing here. It takes a lot of skill, but luck is a very huge factor as well. These guys are doubled up, though, getting ready to go back green. Just 4 laps to go, 3 laps at the line. It's going to be a very, very interesting couple laps here to the end.
Yes, it is. A Chad Cole out front, Jose Gonzalez right there as we're getting set here. Maybe for the final time to go green, but still, we could have a green-white checkered if the caution flies very quickly. But if they go to the white flag, then it's all fair, and they'll make it around, and we'll see. It won't be a caution there. But pace truck's out of turn 4, is going to lead the pack in, is going to drop off on pit road. Chad Cole's out front, and he knows he's going to have a tall order to keep all these hungry drivers behind him as they slowly make that march to the green flag here. The flag flies. We're back racing at Daytona.
Nobody really got a great jump, but Spencer Boyd is certainly damaged. That's some pretty heavy engine damage, just checking up the whole outside line. Oh, I think we were talking about that front end damage as if it was only cosmetic. It looks like it certainly did impact that engine. Right now, he gets turned around by the 77, went down when he didn't have any room right there, and that is going to end his night.
And caution will fly, put us in a green-white checker, and unfortunately, and let's go back and watch what happened. You're right. We thought maybe it might have been more of a cosmetic style thing there for Spencer on the restart, but let's watch it again. It looks like, yep, he just went down low, and the truck was just slowly out of power. Just got evidently caught there in the rear, turned around, and his night done. I think we were thinking that it was more, and now he's stuck on the track. He's going to have to tow, and that makes it even worse.
Certainly does. That's a rough end to a great night he was having. He was being patient. He was being smart. And right there, the entire race, it just all falls apart at the end. But it's like we said, to finish first, you must first finish. And right there, just got the slightest tap and goes around. And another big wreck here. And right now, it's going to be just a green-white checker to the finish.
Yeah, I hate it there on his end. You're right. Man, wow. Yeah, you're right, Jacob. And we've said that before. The commentators curse there. A lot of times we'll get out there and talk about them. Try not to talk too much about drivers out there doing well, or try to say, hey, look, this driver probably going to pull it off. We call it the commentator's jinx up here, and I've had it happen many, many times, and unfortunately there, Spencer caught up in it. Like we said, probably we don't know for sure. You can only just look and say probably a lot more than cosmetic damage to that truck. Maybe been some motor problems. He didn't get up to speed, falling back. But Jose Gonzalez, green-white checkered here to kick off the 2020 Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series at Daytona. Jose now, if you're Jose Gonzalez, Jeff, you got to be thinking, what do I got to do to stay out front? Because everybody and their brother is going to try any move they can. We've mentioned before, Anthony's probably going to be on the outside or the inside, whichever way that Jose goes. So that's either going to put Richard Beasley or Chad Cole behind Jose. Whoever it is. Now, let's say Jose decides to go low. If you're already low, and I think I mentioned this in the dual race, and we're coming around to the white flag, at some point you're sitting there in second, down low, and you've got a slew of trucks up high. At some point you're going to have to say, I'm going to just have to push the guy in front of me to the win. Unless we can just clear that high lane, and I can maybe make a slingshot move coming out of 4. But at some point, you're probably going to have to just say, this is where I'm going to finish, and I'd rather finish here in second with this guy and try to make a crazy move and wreck half the field. So can we see that maybe coming here to the green?
Absolutely. If I'm Jose Gonzalez right now, I'm going to send a message over to Richard Beasley in the private chat, and I'm going to say, hey, let's work together. Can I trust you? Are you going to work with me here? And the reason you choose Richard Beasley in this situation, not Chad Cole, is because if you start on the outside, the whole point of that is you jump the start and you dive down in front of him. And you know Anthony DeBarro isn't going to be willing to work with you. He's going to just jump to the outside. So either way, you're working with this guy that's second in line on the bottom. That's Richard Beasley. So I would shoot a message over to him and I'd say, hey, let's make something happen. You and I can go out and win this race. It'll be one of us that wins it, but not if we don't work together. We have to stick together here. And you see what he says. If he says yes, then hopefully you can trust him. I think Richard Beasley knows that's his best move is to just work with the guy in front of him, then at the end make a move, coming to the checkered flag. But until then, you really just got to be smart and push the guy ahead of you. So Jose Gonzalez, if I were him, I would be trying to work with Richard Beasley and make sure that he's willing to work with you and can make it happen.
Here's the thing, too. Which way do you go if you're Jose? Do you start it outside or do you start it on the inside? It hasn't been much of either factor here. You're definitely going to get. We always say the leader has that advantage on the restarts. The problem with it, plate tracks, there is no advantage because you can't just jump out front too far. They'll run you down before you even hardly get out of turn 1, and you're really just a sitting duck. So really, that advantage that the leader normally would have in any race, and maybe jump out there and get in front of the pack, a little bit or whatnot, goes away in plate tracks. You have to stay tucked up with the other guys. Don't want to get out there, 4, 5, 6 car lengths, because that's just a death sentence here at this part of the race.
It is. And to answer your question from earlier, I think you got to start on the inside here because it goes back to that strategy of trying to work with the 11. You just start in front of him and you hope he can get right up on you and push. Because if you start on the outside, you jump the start and you cut down in front of Anthony DeBarro, you know he's not going to want to push you. He's going to want this win for himself, just like everyone else out here, but he's going to want that win. He's going to jump up to the outside, take advantage of you slowing down when you change lanes and try and get around you. So I think you take the start on the inside, you work with the 11 truck and try and make something happen here. You basically tell the 11, hey, one of us can win this race, but we have to work together for that to happen. So just work with me here. I'll trust you to push me, and let's get this done.
Yeah, I kind of got to agree with you on that one. We have seen the high lane get a good run, and that truck on the top lane been able to slingshot around the leader. The only thing that Jose probably is going to fear if Anthony gets a good run up there, it definitely would leave Chad Cole out on that one, though. But we'll have to keep an eye on it. Have one more shot, and I tell you out there, old Keystone, you're talking about could be another wreck. Well, if there is, here's the thing. There's only one attempt at a green-white checkered here in the Sim500. So if there is a wreck, this essentially is the last time. If a caution was to fly before they got to the white flag, it's over. Jose's got to keep that in the back of his mind. So does Anthony. If that happens, I want my nose to be out front when it does happen. Once they take the white flag, doesn't matter what happens at that point. Here we go. Lights off on the pace truck. All the speculation is going to be thrown out the window at this point. Jose took the outside lane, so that actually puts Chad Cole behind him. Now we're going to see what happens here. It's going to be interesting. The decision that Jose did, unless he's thinking, here's the only thing I can think about real quick here, Jeff, is he gets that, leader's advantage, jumps out there and drops down in front of Anthony real quick. He's probably going to hope on that. Other than that, if Anthony gets a good run, I don't know. I probably would have went with that inside, just like you said.
It's an interesting strategy. We'll see how it works out for him. You're absolutely right. I think we're going to see him jump the start and cut down in front of the 27, but if he's not able to clear him, then he's stuck on the outside and he's in real trouble. So we'll see what happens here as they're coming to the green flag shortly. They are lined up 2 by 2, but man, that's an interesting move to choose the outside for Jose Gonzalez.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting here. Can Anthony Navarro pull it off? He's been up front all night long. Can Jose put this thing speedy-wise out there and win it? Or can Chad Cole, Richard Beasley, Nick Silver, Donnie Leah, E.J. O'Rourke, Corey Chester, Steve Goshak, Brian Day, any one of those? We've seen a wild finish coming out of turn 4 in dual race 2 there that brought, it was actually, I think, the 4th or 5th place machine there, Chris Jabou, I believe came out of just nowhere and won that thing. Actually, Shane Ewan, came out of nowhere and won that thing. So, count out any one of them drivers in the back. We're talking about the top 2 here, but either way, pace truck on pit road, and there we said Jose tried to get the jump, and Chad Cole went with him. I think you're going to see Jose drop to the inside maybe here soon.
We'll see. Maybe he's going to stay loyal to Chad Cole, but he's not going to be able to really get that run going. Chad Cole isn't going to be able to get clear here. I think we're going to see Jose Gonzalez hang him out to dry. Drops down to the bottom. Chad Cole can't follow. Anthony Navarro gets pushed. Everybody pushing each other there. Right now, we're going to see what happens. Jose Gonzalez just bailed on Chad Cole. We'll see if he's going to need Chad Cole later and if Chad will remember that and maybe not help him out when he needs it.
Well, here's the thing on that one. As they come into turn 3, right now Jose out front, he had no choice to do that there, Jeff. He saw the inside lane.
Right.
Nobody was coming up there with the 2 machines, and they were coming strong. If he would have held up there, they would have dropped like a rock in water out of turn 4. So, yeah, you feel bad on the end there, but you're starting to see pushing and shoving. Here comes Richard Beasley up high. He's bringing a Tide machine with him. Jose thought about going up there, and Anthony's trying everything he can push. White flag one more time here at Daytona. Who's it going to be? We got 2 trucks high, 2 trucks low.
You're exactly right. Jose Gonzalez had no other choice, and right now the advantage seems to be on the inside, but they are pushing like crazy. Anthony Navarro's got his bumper locked to the back bumper of Jose Gonzalez. They have to make something happen here. They're coming down the backstretch. We'll see what Donnie Leah does. If he sticks with that 11, they got a real chance. If Chad Cole jumps to the outside, they'll almost certainly have it. He could be the deciding factor. Whichever lane he chooses will probably end up be the one that wins the race. Right now, the inside is leading coming off of turn 4.
Turn 4, final time here. Jose Gonzalez has got his truck out front. Anthony Navarro's there with him. Up high, here it comes. Drag race to the line. Jose Gonzalez is going to win it. Anthony 3rd. Richard Beasley goes around, but Chad Cole holds on to 3rd place. What a finish to this one here to kick off the 2020 Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Race Truck Series at Daytona. Wow, Jose Gonzalez wins it here in a thriller.
What a phenomenal race. 100 laps later, Jose Gonzalez started 18th, and he ends up winning it with Anthony Navarro 2nd, Chad Cole in 3rd, Richard Beasley in 4th, Donnie Leah in 5th. E.J. O'Rourke brings it home 6th. Our biggest mover for sure was Brian Day, started in last. He's all the way up to 7th right now, and he finishes there. Steve Gottschalk in 8th, Corey Chester in 9th, and Nick Silver finishes in 10th.
Man, what a race and what a finish to this one. I hope everybody enjoyed that one. Wow, and Chad Cole by mere inches pulling off that win, or that 3rd place there. Richard Beasley went around coming across. Whew, I tell you, man, what a way to kick off the series here. And I know Jose is going to be ecstatic on this one here tonight.
For sure, and he deserves to be. He just won the opening race of the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Sim500 League in a 100 lap. He did a great job there winning that race, and he deserves to celebrate.
So I'm going to look right now and see what we got. Bring a few of these drivers up here. And here quickly. Second, we'll drivers up here. Don't go anywhere, folks. Welcome back here. Just want to bring up some drivers here and get a good interview in with them. As I tell you what there, Jeff, what a wild one here to kick off this series here. Kick-ass beef jerky. And we're bringing up some of the drivers to get a word in with them. Going through your mind as a driver and all out right now?
Well, as a driver, I guess you're just thinking about what could have been, what would you need to do that you didn't end up getting done. But right now, if you're Jose Gonzalez, you're just down there celebrating and having yourself a great time, because he certainly did a great job to win that race. He was patient, he was smart, he did everything he needed to do to come home the winner.
Yes, he did, and I'm quite proud there of Jose. Definitely loved it. Appreciate everybody, man, tuning in on that one. Let's bring up the third place man here, Chad Cole, who eked this one out here. Get a word in with him.
User was moved to your channel.
Chad Cole, it's Jeff up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, we got you.
Well, you had a fantastic race there. You started in 10th and you finished in 3rd. But coming to the line there, you were pushing Jose with everything you had, and he dropped down in front. What's going through your mind when you see the guy that you're pushing there drop down in front and you just don't have the room below you?
Well, I'm thinking, what a D-bag for a teammate. Who does that to a teammate? I think I'm going to have to find a new teammate. No, but I'm not even sure how I got the lead there at some point. But just played a good race and had good strategy, and it kind of worked out at the end. I'm not a big fan of plate races. I usually end up playing the wrong strategy and choosing the wrong lines and can't figure it out. But it all fell our way tonight, so we're pretty happy with the 3rd. We'll take it and go to the next one.
Well, that's about all you can do after this. Coming home 3rd, though, for someone that doesn't like plate tracks, that's not a bad night at all. So who do you have to thank, though, for that 3rd place finish?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Kick-Ass Beef Jerky for sponsoring the Wednesday series. We really wanted to get that win tonight, so we get a beef jerky prize pack. But that's going to have to wait for another time. So thanks to them for what they're doing this year. And we have a cool program for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky No Bowl. They're doing kind of like the Winston No Bowl back in the day, but it'll be 4 drivers this time. So it's cool that they're doing that to spice things up a little bit. Make the points interesting and have a little bit more on the line to race for. So it's cool that they do that, and hopefully we can get a good year for them.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great little company there, Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. They put on a great show here tonight. Congratulations on that 3rd place finish, though, and hopefully we'll see you up here in the booth again next week.
Hey, thanks. I got to give a shout out to my teammates too, even though Jose's off the team now. Chris and Matt and Steve and Gael was up there spotting Don and who else? Am I missing someone else? We have so many teammates. I don't know. Steve Goschuk that mentioned Nerf. We love them all. They're good people to hang out with.
Always great to have teammates at any track, but especially at Daytona International Speedway. You guys brought it home. The team got the win, so at least there's that 1st and 3rd on the board. That is not bad at all.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get some, at least 1 or 2 beef sticks from Jose out of his prize pack. I mean, he just hung me out to dry there, and that's no way to treat a teammate. So, I mean, he better pay me back with some beef sticks.
There you go. Well, we'll see what happens, but congratulations on a 3rd place finish, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, thank you, guys.
There you go, Chad Cole,
User
man. I
was
always
moved out of
said,
your
man,
channel.
Iceman brought it to the front there. Well, let's bring up another guy here up front all night long, Anthony DeBarro.
User was moved to your channel.
Anthony, you got a copy on us?
Yeah, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty well. Probably not as good as yourself, but you started in 2nd and you finished there. That is not a bad night at all. You decided to push Jose all the way to the end. You didn't duck down below the double yellow or anything. Why was that?
I don't. I mean, it's not really a rule in the game, but I'm not gonna do that. I know it's a real rule in real life. And that's just to start some controversy, and I was hoping to push me clear into 3 there, but luckily we didn't get clear on Beasley there. I was gonna try to shoot the outside, come to the finish, but other than that, I was stuck there on the bottom, couldn't really do much. But I mean, I'll take 2nd any series we start here coming out of a plate track, because they're always luck of the draw. So I mean, we led the most laps, we had a great truck, and we'll get them next week.
You will be back next week to go get some more. Who do you have to thank, though, for that fantastic 2nd place finish?
Yeah, all the guys at Dizzy Trucking and you guys in the booth. I look forward to reviewing the broadcasts every week, and Joey, Nick for admin series. I mean, it's fun. I think we're gonna have a good season this year.
Absolutely. We are just as excited as you are here for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Sim500 League. A fantastic race. Congratulations on that second place finish there, Anthony.
Thank you.
Yo, Anthony DeBarro comes Silver
User was
Bullet
moved
Man
out of your
there. He
channel.
definitely pulled it out in second place. Well, this guy, calling him Speedy Gonzalez, and definitely was fast-paced here tonight.
User was moved to
Jose,
your
Joe Wayne the
channel.
booth, got a copy?
What's up, Joe?
Well, man, I tell you what, I said that you were out there, Speedy, and you definitely was fast, put it out front. Going through your mind, your teammate said you left him out to dry, but like me and Jeff said, well, let me and Jeff showed, we saw, it definitely, you really had no choice but to go low. That inside lane formed up, and it was coming. But, at that moment, how's it feel to pull off the victory here tonight at Daytona?
Yeah, it feels great. It's the first race of the season. It's good to start off on the right foot, And I always do good in these races, late races. I don't know. I do well in them, and I feel good about them. And I had my teammate. I chose the high line, so I have Chad behind me, and we were hoping to get a good restart and cut in front of the barrow and control the inside line. But I don't know. We don't understand how we couldn't, because we got a pretty good start. So we couldn't get in front of the barrow, but it was a split-second decision, and I understand that Chad thinks I left them out to dry, but the way I see it is that I made the right decisions to give him a third place, so he should be thanking me.
Well, you said send him some of them, on the prize pack, you're going to send him some beef strips there, and that maybe will cool it over. But, you're right. We saw up there that, it was a split decision last time. You had to. That low lane was coming. We knew the game plan between what y'all were going to do. Try to get out front, y'all two as teammates there. And like you said, control the bottom lane. Either way, you made the choice. You went low. He got third. You got first as a team. Not bad to kick off the series here. I tell you what, looked good. And I said you got that Trump Pence machine out there, so maybe you're going to take your stimulus money now, and maybe you can buy some more kick-ass beef jerky.
Yeah, the stimulus is great, and as the slogan says, I'm starting to get tired of winning, man.
You go, I tell you what a slogan. Man, you put it in victory lane.
My goodness.
That was awesome. Jose Gonzalez, man. I tell you, kicking off 2020 right, winning the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series at Daytona. You got anybody you want to shout out there, Jose?
Yeah, I want to have a shout out to my teammates, of course, and especially my dear friend Chad Cole. We've been racing for years, and I've taught him everything he knows about racing, so he should be thanking me for giving him a third place in this race.
He said you were off
there
the
you
team, though. I don't know if you heard that interview. He said you're off the team for hanging him out to dry.
I don't know what he's talking about. I am the team.
Oh, well, there we go.
You're the only one that's won on the team.
Yeah, shots fired early. But I tell you what, Jose, awesome win. Awesome, man, to see y'all out there. Great race throughout here at Daytona.
Hey,
Again,
I want to give another
congratulations.
shout out to a couple of friends of mine from Puerto Rico, and they watch the races. Sometimes they enjoy your broadcast, and that's Tito, Rebecca, and Mirna, and they really enjoy watching these races. So a big shout out to them.
No doubt about it. I'll tell you what, Jose, again, congratulations on that awesome win here on Wednesday. The kickoff, the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series 2020 here at Daytona. Again, good run, good win.
All right, it was fun. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yo, I tell
User
you
was
what,
moved
Jeff,
out of
man,
your
what a
channel.
race, what a finish to this one. It was awesome to see. Man, any final words on this one?
Anytime that you can go to Daytona and only have just a couple cautions over the course of 100 laps, they had less cautions in this race than in the actual truck race where they were tearing up real equipment. Right here, it was a fantastic race. We saw all sorts of strategies throughout the night. We saw people that started at the front, that stayed at the front, started at the front and dropped back. People that stayed at the back and tried to fight their way forward, like Jose, from 18th all the way to first. And we saw guys that started at the back and stayed at the back. We saw different pit strategies for under green flag. Everything that everyone tried, it only worked for one guy, and that was Jose Gonzalez. He did a fantastic job timed the moves perfectly and made it work. He had friends in the right places and comes out the winner here. He's getting some kick-ass beef jerky at the end of this kick-ass race.
Absolutely, in my sentiments, exactly. And I tell you what, I hope everybody appreciated it and enjoyed it. We're going to leave here at Daytona for the Kick-Ass Beef Jerky Truck Series. Start of the season here. Jose Gonzalez puts it in victory lane for myself, Jeff, and everybody here at Sim500. Everyone have a good night.